And this is right after the scene where Connie dies.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It's Ash from Super Videos back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at two new pictures that were recently released for the mid-season premiere of Season 10 Episode 9, which is called Squeeze. These pictures were actually posted by Melissa McBride on her Twitter page. Melissa McBride, of course, plays Carol Pelletier on The Walking Dead. So she released two new pictures on her Twitter page for the mid-season premiere, which we're going to take a look at. The first shot is this shot of Daryl and Carol. Now, of course, this is right after the scene where Connie dies. Just kidding. I know that pissed off some of you. Now, it's funny because in a video I did a couple weeks ago, I said no one really cares if Connie dies. She's not that big of a character. Another character who might be getting a fake out death is Connie. Something might happen to her where you think she's dead, but she's not dead. If that happens, if Connie gets a fake out death in the mid-season premiere and they want you to think that she's dead, I think that's just a little cliche because they did it with Glenn and they've done it here and there with other characters as well, not just on Walking Dead, but on Fear as well. And I just think that it's not only cliche, but it's basically a very cheap stunt or to boost ratings, even though it might be short-lived. So that's basically my thoughts on character getting a fake out death in general. And there's been tons of people coming at me and telling me that this might actually happen and Connie might be getting a fake out death. Now their reasoning is a little because what they're saying is that, or at least people that have brought it up to me are saying is that, you know, she's getting this fake out death because she can't film Walking Dead. She's doing another movie, Eternals, I think, which is a superhero movie. So she's doing that. So she might not necessarily be able to do the TV show. So they're doing this fake out death to have her leave, but then be able to come back later, which has its own issues. For one, it's just ridiculous. Connie's not that big of a character. If she wants to do other stuff, just let her do other stuff. I mean, the actors. So why would you leave it open? You know what I mean? No one really cares. As much as I respect the actress playing the character is not that big. Who cares if she dies? You know what I mean? Like, we don't need, at least most hardcore fans, we don't need her to be coming back. There's absolutely no reason why you would leave the door open to bring her back. Yes, you might want to do that with a character like Daryl. You might want to do that with a character like Carol, but not Connie. Yes, some people may care if they're really invested in the Connie Daryl thing, but I don't think hardcore fans are gonna care too much or mind if Connie just dies. You know what I mean? But with that being said, nothing against the actress playing Connie. This is just about the character and what the character means to the story of the show. And the other thing that I do want to mention is that just because an actor is gonna do other stuff doesn't mean they're gonna die. Now, if they do other TV shows, that's a different thing. But if they're just gonna leave to do movies, they probably can make both of them work. They did that with Daryl Dixon when he was in 999, or Norman Reedus when he was in 999. They didn't do anything with the Daryl character. They didn't make it seem like he was dead or anything. No, they made it work. And someone called me out for it in the comment sections and said that I should check social media, which was funny, but I know that there are tons of Connie fans out there. I'm not denying that. I know there are tons of Connie and Daryl shippers, just like there are Connie and Carol shippers. But, you know, to me, as a fan who enjoys the stories and is invested in some of the older characters, Connie dying isn't such a big deal. But I do understand if Connie dying will be a big deal for some people. That's why I kind of teased you guys with the intro and when I said this is right after the scene where she dies. Now, we don't know if she dies. She is one of the candidates that I think might end up dying in the mid-season premiere, but we don't know for sure. There's also been rumors that there's going to be a fake out death and they're going to make you think that Connie dies, but she doesn't actually die. I did a video on that and talked in depth about my opinions and my full thoughts on that. You can find it on the channel. But, you know, I think it's one of those things where Connie not being in the story will not impact the story. Yes, some fans will be impacted, you could say, but I think for the most part, this story will not be impacted. You know what I mean? So that's where I was coming from when I made that comment in that video about Connie's death not being a big deal. Anyway, going back to this picture that was released. So we have Carol and Daryl. Carol looks a little sad, which makes sense. I mean, she's the reason why they're in this mess in the first place. And I think this scene was in the trailer as well. There's a part in the trailer for the second half, the first one they released, where Carol says, I didn't want any of this to happen. She's sitting right next to Daryl, and I think this is where that comes from. Now, I don't think there's anything romantic going on between these two in this scene. It's just that they're trapped, they have nowhere to go, they're bored, so they're just sitting and talking. That's what I think it is. Now, another thing that's very, very interesting is that no one else is around. The space they were trapped in wasn't that big. So I wonder if they get out of that and they go somewhere else and they're trapped in an entirely different place, because we don't see any of the other characters here, like Connie, Aaron, or any of the others. So I think this is most likely in another location. It's still in the cave, but it's in a separate location than what we saw in the mid-season finale. Then we have this shot, which is all of the characters who are trapped other than Daryl. Daryl is the only one missing. We have Jerry, we have Magna, we have Kelly, we have Carol, we have Connie, and we have Aaron. Now, I've talked about this before, but from this gang of people we see, plus Daryl, I think Jerry and Connie are the ones that are most likely to die. Now, Kelly was also in my list, but looking back at the trailer, she is seen in the trailer defending the hilltop, as well as Magna. So we know both of them make it out of this cave trap alive. And of course we do see Carol, Daryl, and Aaron in the trailer as well. So we know all of them make it. The only people we don't see outside of scenes that are inside the cave trap itself are Jerry and Connie, which leads me to think that at least one of them will die. And like we said before, there's a chance that one of them could have a fake out death. They might want you to think that they die, but they don't actually die. And that's pretty much all of the pictures that they released. Now, I will do a separate video that'll be posted. That's going to be looking at how they could potentially get out of this cave trap. We know someone's going to die, but then how do they get out of that? I think there are some possibilities, and we'll cover that on a separate video. We've been talking a lot about who dies, but at least for me, I haven't really thought about, okay, after someone dies, because most likely someone's going to die, but then after that, how do they get out of this mess? So, you know, that's something that I kind of completely forgot to cover. So I'll do that on a separate video. But that's pretty much everything that they released, and that's all I wanted to talk about. But specifically, I have one big question for you guys that I want to get everyone's thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Do you agree with me that we will definitely get at least one death or not? And also, outside of that, something that's kind of related, which we talked about at the beginning of the video, what do you think about Connie's role in the story? Do you think that if Connie dies, it's going to really impact the story that much? Or do you think that, just like Daryl in some ways, but to a less extent, it's kind of like if Daryl dies, we riot. There's a thing where if Connie dies, we riot. I want to know everyone's thoughts and opinions. Of course, I've shared my thoughts. I don't think Connie is a big part of the story, and if she dies, I don't think she impacts the story, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely delusional about that part, and maybe someone needs to clear things up for me. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.